Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video, and today it's time for another TBR. It's time for my March TBR. Now March is the beginning of the Booktube SFF read-along, so they are probably obviously going to be influencing my TBR a lot this month, but I also have a couple of other things that I'm going to be reading because I have some body reads and possible body reads. So yeah, let's get into the TBR. First up, let's start out with the books that I'm still working on going into March, which I'm pretty sure I will. And one of them is The Stand, because I have 9 hours left currently, and we only have 3 days left, and I usually listen to about an hour, maybe a little more a day. So as you see, it will definitely go into March before I can finish The Stand. And so that is a book that I'm working on and that I'm going to be reading in March as well. But for March Stephen King read-along is Night Shift by Stephen King. This is a short story collection that he wrote. This is the first collection of short stories with stories that he sort of wrote and released as they went, and then they were collected in this edition. Okay. It contains 20 short stories. Some of them are from the Salem's Lot, but it's not super long, so I think that the stories aren't maybe very long. It's just over 400 pages, so if I'm planning on trying to read one story a day and then see how that goes, or maybe every second day or something, and then I'll definitely have it finished by the end of March. It depends a little bit on my other plans, but that's what I'm going to try and do. I'll be tabbing it so that I have the start of a new story, so I know how much one story takes up and when I have time to read them. Another body read that I've been talking about is me and Riley. We've been talking about body reading Jane Eyre together, and I have parts 1 and 2 because the Danish edition is apparently divided into 2 evenly split parts, and I'm excited because I haven't really read a whole lot of classics, definitely not these very popular classics by the Bronte sisters. Especially excited about this one because I think it might be one of those that I really will enjoy. The final book that is possibly a body read, I talked to Rachel from Kalanadi about this one. She's talked about how a lot of people would want to read this, so it might be a group read, and that is Cities in Flight by James Blish, which is a masterworks by Gollancz. So I'm personally trying to work on masterwork editions, and I would like to eventually probably read them all. At least that's my first goal, getting into the masterworks. And this is an omnibus edition of a 4-book series, and it's blurred by Terry Pratchett, so that makes me eager to read this. He says, exciting, intelligent, galaxy-spanning stuff that these days would require 6 brick-thick volumes. And it says, this is the real heady wine of science fiction, also blurred by Terry Pratchett. So I'm excited to get into it. So I think it's sort of a space opera, sort of sci-fi, and I haven't read a lot of space opera, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And I think it would be nice to talk to other people about it, because I think maybe body reading this masterwork will be the way to go. It makes me look more excited to get started with them, at least. The last body or group read that I'm going to be doing is Song of Achilles by Madeleine Miller, which is a group read for the Booktube Discord server thing, and this was the month's pick. And since the library had the Danish translated edition, I decided to jump along on that group read-along. So I'm definitely going to be trying to get to it. Now for the Booktube SFF read-alongs reading this month, the majority of them are going to be in audio form, so it's not that big of a pressure as long as I move the stand a little bit to the side when I get to that. But the first one of those is Strange the Dreamer by Lenny Taylor. I have the audio from the library currently, so I need to get started on that. I think I have the next 7 or 10 days or something to read that, so I might have to start it this week. and I'm pretty excited about it, except that I was not the biggest fan of Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This is the only other book that I've read by Lenny Taylor. Her writing is interesting, but the story wasn't really gripping me at the time. But I'm definitely open to try out something else from her. And yeah, so definitely going to give this a big try. And another book that I'm going to read is All System Red by Martha Wells. This is one of the short fiction nominees for Booktubesff Awards this year, and this is about murder bots, I think, and I'm excited. I have this on my Kindle, so I'll definitely be ready to read it whenever. So I don't know exactly when I'll be starting it, but it's nice. It's not really long. It's like 100 pages, a little more, I think, so that's something I can definitely get through. The next one I have to read is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. I forgot to write the author name down, but the cover will be on the screen so you can see it there. This is also another audio that I will be listening to, and it's a middle grade nominee for the Booktubesff Awards, and I've only heard really great things, especially Connor from Connor Ryan has been talking about it, and that makes me pretty excited to get to it. The next book that is also a Booktubesff read along this month is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, and I'm gonna get this from on my overdrive, I think, and if not, I'm going to be listening to the audio. So have that covered as well. The graphic novel read along for this month is My Favorite Thing is Monsters, and I have just ordered that on Book Depository, so it will be here over the next couple of weeks, depending on how long Book Depository decides to spend sending this. But I will be getting it, and usually graphic novels doesn't take a whole lot of time to read, but this is one of those really thick ones. I think it's about 400 pages, between 300 and 400 pages. I've never read a graphic novel that was this long, and I've seen some of the art from it, and it's on lined paper, so I'm really excited to get to that. The final 3 books I've put down is sort of what I'm hoping that I'll be able to fit in. First off, I'm hoping actually to start this before, but I would like to get working on this trilogy by Anne McCaffrey, which is the English original titles are Dragon Song, Dragon Singer and Dragon Drums. So this is a whole trilogy, and hopefully I will have made already some progress when I get to March. But if not, I will at least want to have one of the books read in this over March. But this is a library copy, so I don't know, I have to hand it in at some point, but hopefully I'll be able to renew it so I can have all of March to also read this one. I'm not sure if I get time for this, but if I do, I'd like to get to Sleeping Giants this month, so I have that out of the way before I get to April, because this is one of the sequel to this one is nominated in the Booktubesff. But if I can't get to it this month, I'll postpone it to April, because I don't currently have a lot of plans, but that could change. And I also would like to make some progress in Vision in Silver by Anne Bishop over March, because this is one of my TBR unwrappings. I've considered trying to get to at least one new release every month, but this month is pretty packed already, so I don't think I'll be able to fit it in. But just recently I have sort of put down all of the SFF new releases that are in both science fiction, fantasy, and also sort of speculative fiction, and just put all of them down so that I know these are books that are released in this month, and some of them I already have access to from the library and from Storytel on audio, and so I would want to get to some of those, like those that are ready immediately, and maybe when I'm a bit caught up on the Booktubesff read-alongs, I'll be starting to do that maybe next month and afterwards. And because I'd like to be on top of the Booktubesff releases a little bit more than I've usually been, so that next year when I get to the Booktubesff Awards nominations thingy, I would be able to nominate some great books, and I won't be overwhelmed with how many books that I have to read for this event. But yeah, so this is part of my TBR stack for March. hopefully I will be able to get through all of the books that I want to. I'll definitely be working on all of them. So let me know in the comments down below which plans you have for March, and if there are any of these books that you've read and you've loved, and let me know about that. Also, if you, I don't know if I want to know if they've been terrible, because yeah, it will make me more hesitant to pick them up, but definitely let me know if you've enjoyed any of them, if you want to read any of them. Yeah. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye.